Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to a really cool way to have a Zoom lesson, which is a Socratic Seminar. Right now, we have periods 1, 2, and 3 that are going to be here in this session and talking. I'm super excited to be splitting it up this way to give you guys more talk time. And I'm super excited to introduce our hosts today. We do have Leilani and Ryan that are in the house today to help us kind of go through this Socratic Seminar. They both have been in classes where this has occurred, and they've done a really great job today. So Leilani, Ryan, good morning. How are you guys doing?
Hi.
Hi. So in just a few moments, I'm going to have you go over your expectations for your classmates. I'm going to have you kind of think about how you want this Socratic Seminar to go with periods 1, 2, and 3. And yeah, you're definitely going to make sure that you lay out your personal rules as leaders today. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of show you and take you through our objective today and the materials you need, especially if you're just joining us, periods 1, 2, and 3 only. We're going to take part in a Socratic Seminar today discussing if Alexander is truly great. Now, remember, this is not a debate. This is just kind of talking about things we've seen in the sources, things we've seen in the notes that kind of point us in this direction or not so much in this direction. So that's going to be our discussion today, but you guys are going to communicate in an orderly fashion with your classmates in that Socratic. Now, while we're not all sitting in a circle like we would be in the classroom, I do want us to imagine that circle. I do want us to imagine that we are sitting together in the classroom in this situation so that it can be the best it can go. Okay, we're going to have a couple of rules and regulations. I'm going to go over those in just a moment. Please make sure that if you printed out that article about Alexander, the one with your homework that was at the bottom, you can definitely quote that today. If you guys watch the video of Alexander, you can definitely bring those notes up in conversation. And then if you personally did any notes, if you did any of your own research, maybe you have things from the PowerPoint, you are definitely able to use those today, okay? So keep those close by. I'm gonna show you guys Edsby, what we posted on Edsby today. You guys do have an assignment. Remember, all of your assignments are due Friday, but I do want to encourage you guys to do them as quick as possible because we will have an assignment that I'm gonna assign on Wednesday as well. So I don't wanna overload you guys too much with homework. You definitely know your balance. So just remember that all assignments are due by Friday. Okay, guys, here's what I posted to our Edsby page today. So the same objectives that you just saw in the PowerPoint are right here. You're gonna take part in a Socratic and you're gonna communicate with your classmates in an orderly fashion. Okay, so keywords right there, orderly fashion. No IXL today. You guys are here on the live Zoom lesson. Welcome to everybody here. I should have periods 1, 2, and 3. And if you aren't able to make it, you might be joining in right now. Hello. And hopefully you guys have a good experience watching the Socratic happen. And maybe you even participate on the sidelines too. I've attached the PowerPoint for today. Please review it if you have any concerns. Some things you might review from it is the independent work that I put at the end of the PowerPoint slides, so check those out. And then today you have a reflection that I'm going to assign. I'm going to talk all about it, so don't try and do it now. We will get you there, okay? Office hours are today from 2 to 3. If you need help with anything, all the info is the same. You might have noticed today's password was Rome, so just keep that in mind. The password is changing to Rome for these sessions up until the end of the year because we're headed to Rome. And then all of the resources that you might need today, here's your PowerPoint that I posted. And then of course, if you were to need any documents, the video or the assignment, it is here. I posted that last night. Okay, guys? So there is that for you. Thank you guys again for being here. Periods 1, 2, and 3, we're super excited. anyways, I'm going to take it to Leilani and Ryan to kind of set out their expectations today for the Socratic Seminar. So, Leilani, I'll have you go first.
So in order to have like a good seminar today, I believe that everyone should at least give everyone should at least have a chance to talk and speak like their opinion, and that everyone should like respect each other's opinions also. And just to be prepared for everything, just to have notes or like a source, like you said, with you so you can support your opinion.
That's definitely wonderful advice, Leilani. Thank you for that. Ryan, what about you? Anything different that you would like to recommend for your classmates today? There you go, Ryan. You're all set. There you go, Ryan.
Okay. Sorry, I was muted. So if like you have a really good point, then don't hesitate to talk. Just like stay on topic. Don't talk too much because you need to give everyone a chance. And I bet everyone has really good points to contribute. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone has a lot of great points to contribute. I'm aware of that because people are chatting me and always, all the time, saying really, really great things for us. So anyways, we are going to move on. I'm going to show you guys our agenda and kind of go over some rules as well for this session. So we're going to introduce the lesson. I showed you Edsby. We are going over the agenda now, and we definitely heard from our Socratic leaders today. In just a moment, you guys are going to be going into a breakout session, okay? It's going to be a little bit different than the breakout sessions we're used to because usually we have like 4 or 5 people in there. Now, in this breakout session, we're going to identify group A and group B in this session, okay? So while we've cut it in half with class periods, we're also going to cut the session in half again so that we can say, okay, group A, you guys can go ahead. You're the ones that are able to talk right now, and then we'll switch it to group B. So we're trying to get everybody to be able to speak their minds today. After that, we're going to go over the rules. The Socratic will begin, and then we'll do questions and independent work for the day. I'll kind of take the last 5 minutes of class to go over those for you so I can send you off and you know exactly what to do today. All right, so that's our agenda. In just a second, I am going to put you guys into a breakout session. Now, this isn't going to be something that you're going to be in for a while. So this is just going to identify who's group A and group B. Please remember what group you are. And I'm actually going to be giving you guys the ability today to unmute yourself if somebody calls your name. Okay, so make sure that you guys do that. Make sure you unmute yourself only when your name is called. Okay, guys? So I'm just going to give you guys another minute or so that we can get prepared and just count so I can alleviate a couple people in the waiting room who are from 5th and 6th period. Okay, thanks guys for taking a moment just to make sure you're in a comfy spot, a quiet spot, and that you have your materials ready. Give you 1 minute to get yourself prepared. All right, guys, hopefully you have enough time to get prepared and be in a quiet spot, especially if you plan on unmuting yourself today. So I'm going to be actually changing that modification on Zoom, so you guys are able to unmute yourself, but only unmute yourself if you are called upon to speak, okay? So we're not randomly unmuting ourselves and randomly hijacking the conversation. So that's kind of the rule number one here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and allow you guys to unmute yourself when you're in the conversation. Now I'm going to go ahead and put you guys into a breakout room, so you guys know if you're group A or group B. And I'm going to say, okay, guys, group A is going to be the only ones allowed to talk right now. Okay, and then group B, I have something for you to do while you wait, and then we'll flip flop. We'll flip flop very often today. Okay, so let's go ahead. You are going to get into a room, and please accept the invitation to one of the two rooms that you're going to be in. And then while you guys are here, we're going to be going over the rules. We'll go over the rules of the Socratic Seminar today. So thank you guys for joining your particular group. Make sure you're on the screen here. You're accepting that invite so that you know what group you are in. Thank you guys for being active participants right from the start. I really, really appreciate that. And it's because of you that this is going to go well today. And I'm super, super excited. So thank you guys very, very much. So if you're in breakout room number one, your breakout room number one, you're going to be group A. Okay, breakout session one or breakout room one is going to be group A. So you guys are going to be unmuted first. So remember, unmute yourself only when you're called upon, okay? And then if you are in breakout room number two, you are group B, okay? Group B. So thank you guys again for being very responsible with how you unmute yourself today. I'm super excited. I know it's gonna go well. So while you guys are here in these breakout sessions, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and go over the rules of the Socratic Seminar. So we can go ahead and practice right now, practice making sure we can mute ourselves and then unmute ourselves. So go ahead and do that. Make sure that you're able to mute yourself and unmute yourself. If there are any issues, just let me know. All right, so hopefully you guys have figured out the function of muting yourself and unmuting yourself. The rules of a Socratic seminar: remember to call people by name. Now this is super, super important, because if you don't say, what do you think, then everyone's gonna unmute themselves and it's gonna be chaos. So what do you think, Kaida? And then Kaida can kindly unmute herself and then say her thing. I'm trying to hear what Owen's trying to say. Like, so Owen, what is your opinion? And then make sure that you do that so that we can have an orderly Socratic. Remember to refer from evidence from the text, evidence from the video, evidence from the textbook. We thrive on evidence with the Socratic Seminar. If you have any questions, like maybe Juliana spoke and you don't quite understand, maybe say, hey, I don't understand, Juliana, can you repeat that again? Or can you repeat what you mean? So it is okay to ask a student for clarification. I think you said this, Colin, is that right? So making sure you call out the names, that's imperative here, guys. You don't need to raise your hand, obviously, but make sure you pay attention to your airtime. If you know you're talking a lot, maybe take a back seat to somebody and allow them to talk too. So make sure, maybe you make a tally mark wherever you are at, say, okay, I spoke like 3 times, and then kind of maybe stop. This Socratic is not graded on how many times you speak. So just letting you guys know that. I know a couple of people were worried, like, oh my gosh, I hope I get to speak 5 times. Well, guys, it's a different setting, so I'm not grading you on that, okay? If you speak, amazing. And if you don't get to, or something happens where you can't, you're not gonna be penalized, okay? Also, this is your chance to feel free to put your stuff in the chat too. So if your mic's not working or you don't feel comfortable speaking out loud, if you want to type stuff into the chat, I can kind of intervene here. You know, I am the host, so I can intervene and maybe say a point that you want to make too. So if you are shy or if you just don't feel like talking in the camera today, please feel free to write your stuff in the chat. And if it's something that is different or a point you want to make, I can say it as well. So don't worry there. Make sure you don't interrupt others and don't put the ideas of other students down. Don't say that's stupid or that's dumb. Remember, it's a discussion. So maybe say, so why do you think that, Rosemary? Why do you think that is? Instead of calling that out as something silly or whatever. So make sure that you are being really, really respectful to your classmates here. Another rule of the Socratic, it's not a debate. I've had several people say like, I'm ready for the debate, Miss Kara. Well, guys, we're not arguing. It's not something that we're like one side or the other. It is a discussion. While you can have your opinion, make sure you use the sources and remember to be able to defend as well, defend your reasoning or be open to other possibilities and other ideas, okay? So it's not like you have decided and this is it, you're done, this is how you feel. No, this is definitely something where you can be like, oh, wow, I never saw it that way. Thank you for bringing that up. Remember, this is a safe place to share your opinions. So feel free to unmute yourself and talk when it's appropriate. But if, like I said, if you want to add your stuff into the chat, I can speak on your behalf. Remember, this is a time where you're able to unmute yourself, okay? So you have that capability today when you're called on. And then it's a time where you guys can show off your respect to the class, show off your respect to Miss Kara. And remember that if you don't, there are consequences that are enabled. You know, these sessions are recorded. So remember that you are, you know, you're kind of in a big platform right now. So make sure this is your chance to show off your respect and to be awesome. So I'm really excited to show that to you guys. Now, when I say group A, it's your time to talk. It's your time to be live. What does group B do? So group B, you can take this opportunity to write down any notes. Feel free to refer back to something group A said when it's your time to talk. Any good points, you can do that. You can add comments into the chat. If it's not your time to talk, you can add comments in the chat. You can take a mental break. I know sometimes we just need to take 5. You can listen for things to add to your reflection. So maybe you just sit and observe for this time. And then same goes for group A. When it's your time to be muted, you can do these things as well. All right. So thank you guys for being here. Take a look, one last look at your breakout session. People, these are the people in your group. So maybe you want to write a few names down so you know that you're going to call these people out to talk. Maybe you want to do that for a moment real quick so that you remember who's in your group, okay? Now, if you call on someone in group B, it's okay. It's not gonna be the end of the world, but try this organizational way so we can make it good. I'm gonna end the breakout sessions in about 60 seconds. So if you guys are writing some names down of people, go ahead and do that because we're going to be closing the rooms and joining the main session and getting started on the Socratic. I'm so excited, guys. Thank you for being here for that. And I can't wait to get started. All right, guys, we're coming back to the main session, and Ryan and Leilani are here. I'm just gonna make sure that you guys are unmuted. Remember, Ryan and Leilani, you guys are unmuted the whole time, whether it's group A or group B. So just keep that in mind for yourselves, okay? Leilani, did you have a question?
Yes. So while we're going through while we're doing this seminar, I can write down like notes after if someone says something like really good, like can I just like write that down, maybe like bring it up again in the next topic or something?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's really, really good. That's a good point that you make. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, I am going to just kind of open up the Socratic and say, guys, the Socratic is sticking to the point of, is Alexander truly great? So all the discussion today should be around kind of trying to answer that question in our way, whether it's yes, whether it's no, whether it's I don't know, I'm trying to figure that out still, but our classmates are here to do that. So group A and group B, okay, you guys are muted except Leilani and Ryan, who are our Socratic leaders today. They had their expectations for you. So Leilani and Ryan, I'm gonna have you guys ask the first question. It doesn't matter who. And then group A, I want you guys to be on alert for listening for your names to unmute yourself, okay? So Leilani, Ryan, do either of you want to start with a question? I'm going to be monitoring the chat if I hear anything that comes out.
Okay. So, like, what do you think about his father dying? Like, did he have anything to do with that? Was that suspicious?
And you can call on a name too, Ryan, if you'd like.
Oh.
Or if anybody feels like they want to unmute themselves and answer that, you can.
I feel like that is a bit suspicious that his father died right before he was about to conquer the Persians, and then Alexander came in line to rule. I feel that way because since his father would get all the glory and fame for kind of the one who was gonna end the war between I guess you could say the entire country of Greek, since both Athens and Sparta were under attack. And also just the Persians from losing even more people. I guess his father would get all, I guess, the fame and stuff, and I guess Alexander might have gotten mad about that because he'd just be the underman and not recognized. So he probably had something to do with the murder. But that's just the way I feel about it.
Miss Kara?
Yes.
I just wanted to say something. So after what Maddox said, that it was suspicious that Alexander's father died right before he was about to conquer the Persians. But what I found more suspicious is that Alexander is now like allies with the Persians. Like his wife is a Persian, and I'm kind of seeing something suspicious there. Like he didn't want his dad to conquer the Persians.
Yeah, and he's like adopting their cultures and things like that. I'd love to hear what other people have to say.
I didn't think it was suspicious at first, because like whenever a king dies, the son just ends up being the king. But after what Leilani said about then him like kind of like taking in the Persian culture, it does kind of sound suspicious.
Yeah, Theo, that's really, really great. I also heard Rosemary say she thinks Alexander's father might have been killed by the same aliens that built the pyramids. Does anybody have anything on that?
I think that probably might not be true. Because like did they have a death record of it or something like that, or no?
I'm sure they had some type of written record, yes.
Well, if like the aliens were to go kill him, I guess you could say, they would have to use, I guess sometime, like, you would see damage on either the body on the outside or internally, and, which I'm guessing probably, since someone on the inside would have had to, like, I guess you could say, be there, kind of to, like, allow them to go through the gates and be like, this is my honored guest. I don't think if an alien were to go through there, they would probably stop the alien before it was able to go murder the king, because they have so many people around the palace guarding and keeping a close watch on everything. Plus, you also have witnesses from the people around the area, and also, of course, you guess people in the range, just in case you could hear anything like screams of terror or something like that. So I just don't think that might be a possible, I guess, solution for how he died.
Thank you, Maddox. Rosemary said, ooh, that's really smart. So I think you might have like helped her kind of figure that out. So that's really, really good. I'm also hearing here in the chat that, you know, Alexander is known for killing his friends. He's known for killing his advisors. He's known for killing, you know, a lot of people that were close to him and thousands of innocent people to boot. Thank you, Luca, for that. Does anybody have anything that kind of, you know, shows a pattern for Alexander there?
I do. He never agreed with his father that much, and he never like was close with them. So I think that he just wanted to take over, so he killed his father for that.
Well, I'm gonna say something about. So, wait. I found an article on the History Channel that states that Alexander's father Philip was assassinated by his bodyguard.
Mm.
So
Very interesting. Anybody have a comment on Andreas?
Absolutely. Miss Kara?
We're here.
I have a comment.
Got it. Go for it.
Well, Keegan was right. He never agrees with his father that much. I really never agree with my dad that much either. But I hope it doesn't. But I hope the fate of my dad doesn't turn out the way Alexander's dad did.
I sure hope not.
It won't. Don't worry. I always make it up to my dad.
Well, that's good. I'm going to tell Group B to be ready in about 5 minutes. We're going to go ahead and switch it to you guys. So Group A, is there anything else that you guys want to say before we switch it off? Don't worry, we're going to switch back and forth and back and forth. So anything that you want to say? I'm looking in the chat to see if anybody mentioned anything.
Excuse me?
Yes.
I would like to say something about how he was assassinated by his bodyguard, how Alexander's father was assassinated by a bodyguard. I still think that maybe Alexander was like, oh, wait, you're going to assassinate him? All right, I'm cool with that. So maybe just because he didn't do it doesn't necessarily mean that he had no part in it.
Yeah, that's a great point that you make as well. Here in the chat, Rochelle says, I don't think that Alexander had anything to do with his father's death because he doesn't think that Alexander would do it himself since it's his father, and back then they had much respect for him to do what he said. So that's what Rochelle says here in the chat. Does anybody have any agreement there?
I think that whenever Alexander could have hired the bodyguard to do this, because you don't really know what the bodyguard's reasons are, but you know Alexander's, and those are pretty good reasons to kill his father.
Thank you, Martin. That's a good point.
I think that he might have had something to do with the death because right after the bodyguard killed him, he killed the bodyguard, so he couldn't say anything about it. And also, there was evidence that that might not have been his biological father, and that might have been his stepfather.
Thank you, Ava, for bringing that up. Did you have a source where you found that?
It was on a video that I watched.
Cool. Yeah, that's definitely true.
I have something else to say as well. Knowing that Alexander, since as we've seen in the geography of his empire, he conquered a lot of land. I was thinking that he might be power hungry. Since after, I guess you could say, philosophers were teaching him and stuff, like I forgot the name of the philosophers. Let me see here. Aristotle was taught by I keep forgetting.
Plato.
Yeah, by Plato, and then Plato was taught by I'm just so bad with names.
Socrates.
Yeah, and he questioned everything that they knew, kind of like about the gods and stuff. And after he was questioned by everything, he probably didn't believe in them anymore. So he declared himself a god since he was on top, since he didn't have anyone to he was afraid of after killing his father. So he became really power hungry, and that's why he kind of, I think, conquered a bunch of land, and he probably murdered his father also because of that.
Yeah,
So he could be in charge.
that's very astute, Maddox. I'm seeing that Owen says, even though Alexander allied with the Persians, maybe the Persians didn't like his father, and he kind of did the Persians' dirty work. Also, Lucas said he also killed anybody that talked about his dad's murder. So he might have killed them to cover it up. So he didn't want anything leaking that he was a part of it, or whoever was wouldn't be able to speak. We have about 2 minutes before we switch. So does anybody have any thoughts on those?
Going back on who was it, Luca? He said that he killed anyone who was leaking it, kind of talking about his dad's murder. I think I agree with Luca on this because he was because he could still, because they had a democracy, right? Or no?
No, they had a monarchy because it was the kings.
Yeah, but also, yeah, that is true. I was also thinking that he might get since kings could be replaced, then he might be replaced by someone who is actually honest about everything and would do a better job of his kingdom. But he didn't want to lose his power, maybe.
Right.
So he tried covering it up and making sure that he still stood in charge. And also maybe because when he killed anyone who was leaking it, it's because those people were eyewitnesses to what happened, and he didn't want any witnesses, so he would be evicted and then sentenced to prison or even death back then.
Yeah, that's a great point that you make, Maddox. And we're going to go ahead and switch to Group B right now. So everybody in Group A, remember this is a time where you can stay muted. You can kind of sit back and relax for a moment. You can take notes. You can even think about things that you want to put in your reflection. As a teacher right now, I'm so proud of you guys. You guys are being so respectful. You're calling people by name. People are unmuting themselves and being comfortable. Ladies and gentlemen, you're doing a fantastic job. So Leilani and Ryan, you guys are still the show runners here. So keep up with that. But Group B, if you were in the second breakout session, you are also Group B. You are going to be able to say your input. But I'm going to have Leilani or Ryan maybe come up with another question to kind of keep this Socratic moving along.
I have a question.
Go.
Do you believe it was fair that Alexander could just kill whoever he wanted just because, they were going against him and didn't believe what he was doing was right?
Great question. Feel free to take it, anyone.
Maybe like Arij, do you want to say anything?
Arij, you can go ahead and talk, or if anybody has a great answer to that, you can unmute yourself. Come on, Group B, you got this.
I don't think it's fair because it's okay. What was the question again? Because I sort of forgot. All I remember is that killed a whole bunch of people.
Go ahead, Leilani.
I don't think it was fair because he had
he was allowing multiple cultures to be in his kingdom, but he still wouldn't let anybody talk about the murder, and basically he just killed everybody, even though they were free to have their own religion and do whatever they wanted.
Hmm. All right, come on, Group B. You guys, I know want to talk. So Amina says in the chat, and feel free to comment on this, I don't think it was fair because he didn't care for anyone's opinion, which doesn't make him a good leader. So interesting enough, does that make someone great if they don't hear out other opinions from everybody? That's a great question.
Honestly, I don't think it does make them that great if they're just going to ignore people's opinions, because like as a leader, that's something you have to do is like listen to other people's opinions.
I completely agree with you, Kaida.
I agree with Kaida. Like, you have to be a good leader, you have to like take part of like people's opinions. So then you're leading, like how you're leading is based on what people want, not just how you want to lead. I guess. That sounds kind of weird.
No, that's great.
I partially agree on that. It's just when leading a kingdom or leading a country with thousands and thousands of people, you can't really take into consideration every single one of them. So it's kind of hard as a leader to take everyone's opinion.
Great point, Anthony, there. That's really great. This is from Evan. I think that I've been watching too much Star Wars, he says. But people die all the time. It's not fair, but does that really make someone not great if people are just dying all the time and you don't know it, like not being aware of that? How do we take that?
Well, it's not that people are just dying. It's that he's like killing people. Like he murdered like over 2,000 people.
So going back to like the Star Wars part, like the Emperor like killed like a whole bunch of people. So like at that one part where like he's like power, and that's just reminding me a whole bunch of like it like how did why did what was his name? Alexander the Great killed the whole bunch of people. It's this like everyone says that it was like going in his way, but like why? So I gotta ask a question. Anyone can answer. I don't care. Why did Alexander the Great, air quotes, the Great, killed a whole bunch of people?
I feel like there's kind of no way to for sure tell, but from what we've discussed, I feel like some was just him being selfish and wanting power, like you said, and some was because he wanted good for his kingdom or whatever.
Yeah. And Maddox makes a good point here in the chat too. He also, he said he was a god. So does that give him a right? Calling himself a god give him a right to kill people and be okay?
I think that it 100% does not give him that right, because it also said in the video that his mom like lied to him and told him that he was descended from a god, and like he didn't know that, but still, like even if he thought he was a god, that doesn't really give him the right to like do whatever he wants. And I also agree with Anthony, like there's not really one way to answer that question. Like there's multiple different answers and nobody can really know for sure.
Yeah, great point. And also, he also called himself the son of Zeus too. So, same thing,
I was gonna
Sophia.
say
Does
that.
that give him privilege to do those things? You answered that
I
it
mean,
does not.
yeah, he's not Zeus. Even if he was the son of Zeus, he's not Zeus.
Great point, guys. Group B, I'm going to give you guys 5 more minutes. So feel free if there's something you guys want to bring up or talk about. Also, I'm going to switch it back to Group A. You guys will definitely get to go again. So anything that you guys want to kind of talk in these last 5 minutes about Alexander and getting to if he's truly great.
I want to add on to what Sophia said. I definitely believe that he didn't have the right to kill people, but there are like some reasons why he had killed people just because he was enraged first. He had killed over 2,000 men who tried to stand against him, and he just killed people just because he wanted to, really. But I'd also like to hear from someone else in Group B, maybe someone who hasn't said anything yet.
I would like to say that I think that he did do a lot. I think he did a lot of great and amazing things, but I don't think he deserved to be Alexander the Great, because he also did some things that he shouldn't have done, but he also did some amazing things.
Yeah.
Jonathan brings up a good point here in the chat, guys. When he killed the people in the rebelling cities, was he doing that to protect his empire? And is that something great? Protecting his empire. Obviously, you can't have a safe empire if people keep rebelling. So is doing that protecting? And is that something that we can consider truly great?
No. I think why he wanted to kill the rebelling or conquer or whatever is probably just because he just wants what Anthony said about my question, power. He wanted more power, but he doesn't care if his city is getting ruined unless if his city actually gets conquered or gets destroyed.
Actually, I quite disagree with that because, honestly, if you're gonna take over area, because keep in mind, Alexander the Great conquered lots of places. You're gonna have to kill people to get them out of your way if they're enemies.
Yeah, I like to say something too. It's kind of like Haida. It's if they're rebelling, they're obviously going to take care of something, and they're going to come after you in your kingdom, and it's not a safe thing to have. Because it's also that doesn't affect just him. That affects his everyone that is with him. Because that's just taking out his kingdom. So it's going to take. He's going to lose power as people are starting to rebel, and then people are leaving his city, and that's just not good for his kingdom. So he has to get rid of them to where they won't just interfere with his ruling, and him just trying to it's him just trying to help us make his kingdom safer.
Yeah.
But the thing is, people are only rebelling against him because they don't like his ways and stuff. If he would change his ways, people wouldn't rebel against him, and then he wouldn't have to kill people. So does he want to kill people? Does
Honestly,
he not care?
The people who are don't like his ways, you remember the people who don't like the ruler's ways, they go somewhere else about it. They don't, it's you can just go somewhere else about it and not just have to stay there. You can obviously leave his kingdom if you don't want to. It's really not that hard.
But at the same time, wouldn't he really get offended? How dare you leave my kingdom? Isn't my kingdom the greatest? How dare you?
Yeah,
He's gonna be offended.
People leave in and out of kingdoms every day. People leave in and out of places every day such as trading. They go out to hunt. They got the multiple places. They leave their kingdom to go out and fight, out to hunt, trade, maybe venture off to new homes, as I already said.
Fair point.
He might kill them because he doesn't want them to he doesn't want them to leave his kingdom, because what if they try to go to somebody else's kingdom or something?
Yeah, that's a great point too, Sophia. You want to make sure that if you are treating these people well and protecting them, that they don't flee your kingdom. You've done all this work to prepare a place, and we don't want them to go. I'm going to invite Group A to also chime in. We do have about 5 more minutes left. I wish we had longer. And I have to go over your independent work today. So 5 minutes left. Feel free, if you're in Group A and you have something to say, that you can go ahead and say it now. And Group B or Group Big Brain, which I'm going to call you guys to, you guys can feel free to also continue to talk.
Miss Kara? Miss Kara?
Andrew?
Yeah, Owen's right about the people rebelling against him and leaving him. They don't want to live with such a tyrant like him. I know for a fact I wouldn't. Neither would you.
Would anybody in this group do that? Would they feel like he's great and you would?
Like, if he's a king and he's like, all rulers should be fair about their thing, which they said it's like it's fair because obviously they have to let them leave. Like, they should have their own rights, and like they should have certain rights and laws. Like, to leave, you should be able to leave, like we all do. And like, I mean, and also like the same, every king has to like murder people just to like do battle. Like, let's say, go back to Ashoka, he had to kill people because just to keep his kingdom safe. So let's say Hammurabi did. They'd all have to do that. Just all different rulers have like get rid of like rebellion, people rebelling just to keep their kingdom safe.
I like to just say that he also killed, I think it was 3,000 of his own troops that he worked together with them to conquer that land. And he killed them just because they wanted to go home because they were with him for 8 years. And so he just killed them. And then all the work that they did, they couldn't even go back home to like celebrate. And I feel like that's actually really sad. That the troops were stuck for 8 years fighting for land, and then they want to go back home, and then they're just left to die in the desert trying to go the long way home. So
It's kind of like building a house and getting it just perfect and then moving. Like when right when it's all ready to go. Yeah, they couldn't even enjoy what their progress was, their victory, exactly. So in this last few minutes, guys, I'm going to ask you guys, based upon these things you're saying, based upon these documents, is he truly great? What do we think? Is he truly great? Let's hear your thoughts.
No, he's not. I'm gonna call him Alexander the Evil. Like, I despise him.
How about Alexander the Okay? That seems like it seems like Alexander the Okay would be an okay name for him, considering that he had his good moments and he had his bad moments.
Yeah, just like Theo said, he did do great things, but I don't think he deserves the name great on his name.
Yeah, Alexander the Great.
Absolutely not. I would call him the Alexander the Awful.
Okay.
Alexander
Good work,
the
Andrew.
Great. Alexander the Great, I don't think deserves that title.
Uh-huh.
Because first he murdered a bunch of people either because they invoked his temper, just because they disagreed with him on a certain, I guess you could say on a certain subject, like if they were planning a strategic route and he wanted to go one way which would lead certain death, and then someone else would be like, oh, we should go this way, it would provide a better advantage for us, and then he just killed them, which is kind of dumb. Also he killed close friends. He killed close friends and advisors. So that's getting rid of your people that are supposed to help you out with certain subjects and stuff like that. And that's also your friends that help you enjoy life more, because you don't let's just say my friend Will, I don't go up to him and then just, I don't know, knock him out or something like that. I say hi to him, and if we disagree on subjects, but that doesn't mean I just go knock him out or something like that.
Yeah, guys, and I am super, super excited. I'm going to mute everybody just so I can kind of say my last things too and get you going. Remember, the Socratic isn't technically over, because in your reflection, you're able to continue to keep talking about your opinion. You're able to continue about your opinion on Alexander. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the screen of what you guys should be working on now that you're going to be independent working after this next hour. So you guys I can't thank you enough. You did a fantastic job as a class. And the way that you guys jumped in, the way that you guys participated, you called each other's names. I couldn't be more proud of you guys. So thank you so much. And I feel like this went really, really well, a lot better than expected and a lot better than the debate. And maybe I could try to work our way in to do this again, because I really loved hearing your voices and hearing you guys participate. It was just, it really warmed me. So thank you guys for being so respectful. So you guys did Alexander questions. They were due last week, and you guys did a great job on those multiple choice questions. But adding to that is going to be a reflection on this Socratic seminar, okay? So adding to your questions, so the Socratic is 25 and the questions were 25. So you have a 50-point grade for chapter 30. No test for chapter 30, which is great. No test, yay. So in order to get your full 50 points, you're going to be writing a reflection. You can write it out on a pencil with a pencil and take a picture. You can even send a paragraph through Edsby if that's easier for you. I want it to be easy for you to do. So in your reflection, you are going to tell me what you learned about Alexander during this activity. You can talk about, was he truly great in your opinion? How did this activity go? So you can really just talk about the activity. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Obviously, we prefer the classroom setting, so you don't have to say that. So that's pretty much obvious. But how did this particular session go? How did your classmates help you understand? Maybe even call people by name. I loved it when Will said this. It was so helpful when Maddox said this. And then what are you proudest of yourself for this lesson? Okay, guys, these combined all together, your questions from last week and then this from today, is 50 points total for your Alexander grade. All right, guys, this PowerPoint and this slide is on Edsby, so feel free to go back to it. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Again, thank you guys so much for just this amazing Socratic seminar. I am going to bring it to Ryan and Leilani just to kind of hear from them and their thoughts about how this went. So ladies, if you could wrap it up here in a minute each.
I kind of think that it went pretty well, but not everyone got to talk, so I didn't really hear everyone's opinions, like on their side of the story, or do they think Alexander is great or not. But I feel that it went really great. Everyone stated some great points, and that I feel that some people shouldn't have talked as much as they did because they didn't really give other people a chance to talk.
Okay.
But they all gave really great points. Everyone that talked, I actually wrote down some things that were said, but it was like, I think this was really good. We should definitely do it again.
All right, I will definitely try to see if I can work that out. Thank you, Leilani. Ryan, what do you have?
So I think that things were like going pretty smoothly, but like some people talked more than others. Like I definitely saw that, but they all had good points. It's just maybe we should give other people a chance to talk.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll put that into my next session. So ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you. You have this next hour to work on history work on this reflection, send it to me, and make sure that you are all caught up too. I wanted to mention that a couple people actually took the chapter 30 test on Friday when it was actually the chapter 29 test. So go double check that you are all up to date, if there's no Edsby messages from me. And if not, you can do the test still for full credit, do it, and then take a look and see if you're missing any assignments and get those to me too. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Thanks again for a great session. I'm very happy with how it went. And I hope you have a good one, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Oh, Miss Kara.
Yes.
Before we go, I just wanted to say I just found out that I did the chapter 30 instead of chapter 29. So.
Yeah, you're fine. You can go ahead and take 29 for full credit.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, bye, Miss Kara.
Bye. All right, bye, guys. Make sure that you sign out because I have new kids coming on in. Thank you so much. Yes, Victoria. Good morning. Happy Monday, guys. Welcome. Good morning, guys. Happy Monday. Welcome to this session. I'm so excited to have you guys here. Just make sure that you guys are in a quiet spot. You are going to have the power today to unmute yourself and talk. So we want to make sure that you're in a quiet place and that you have all of your materials that you need. Those materials include your Alexander article because we're going to be referencing documents today. If you have notes from the video that you watched, we're going to go ahead and be referring to that. The first session did refer to that video a lot. And then if you did your own research, if you have anything, the PowerPoint, the textbook, have everything ready to go. The first session did an amazing job, and I know that you guys will too. So thanks for being prepared. We're going to start in a few minutes. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. And I am so excited to do the Socratic. Like I said, first, second, and third period did such a good job. And I know that you guys will do a great job too. I do have 2 Socratic assistants today that I'm so excited to introduce you guys to. Those Socratic assistants are Miles and Mia. Miles and Mia, say hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Awesome. I'm going to have you guys in just a moment so you guys can just kind of gather your thoughts. I'm going to have you guys come up with your expectations as Socratic leaders today so that you can tell the class. Before you do that, though, do any of you guys have any kind of motivational words or inspirational words to start today?
So don't if you don't have like a complete idea of like what you're gonna say, don't freak out because this is definitely kind of a relaxed discussion. So it's not like you're gonna be as on the spot as like in a debate and stuff.
Very, very excellent point too. Mia, do you just have any positive words to just kind of motivate everyone to do well today?
It's okay if like you don't always know what to say in this because I mean we're just all talking and like Miles said, it's okay if you don't really know like if you know if he's really truly great or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Just try your best.
Yeah, just go off of whatever evidence that you think would support whatever point.
And those are great points you guys make too, because remember, this isn't a debate. We're still trying to figure out the answer to the question, is he truly great? So if you don't have an answer, that's okay. Like usually in a debate, we want you to join one side or the other. But for this one, it's okay if you're still trying to figure it out because it's a very big question. So yes, great advice, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and go over our objectives today with everybody. Welcome to the session, guys. Happy Monday. And our objectives today is you're going to be taking part in a Socratic seminar addressing the question, is Alexander truly great? All right. And to do that, you will communicate with your classmates in an orderly fashion. And I can't be so more proud of how first and second and third period did today. They were so organized with their discussion. No one talked over each other. They called people by name, and it just went so well. So I know that you guys are going to do that too. If you guys don't have your materials yet, make sure that you have that article on Alexander. Maybe you have a hard copy. Maybe you have it pulled up on your computer so you can refer to it. If you took video notes from our Ancients Behaving Badly video, you can have those out, or any other personal research. I want to kind of have you at this time get into a nice, quiet, comfortable spot. I want you to close your eyes and picture us in the classroom, in our circle, in our Socratic circle where we talk, so that you can visualize each other in this circle and we can have our good discussion like old times like we do for Socratics. Today's agenda, guys, I'm going to show you Edsby here in just a moment so that you guys know where to go for all of your assignments. I'm going over the agenda now, and you guys know our Socratic leaders today, and I'm so excited to have them. We're going to do a breakout session. So we're going to actually break this session down even further into half. And I'm going to have one group be group A and one group be group B. And while group A is talking, group B is kind of observing, and then we're going to flip flop a few times today. Okay, so everyone will get their chance to talk. We'll go over the rules while you're in those breakout sessions so you know how to act and where your grade is coming from. It's a different atmosphere, so you're going to be graded differently. So we'll go over that. We'll do the Socratic. Hopefully we'll have a good chunk of time to talk today. And then at the end, at the last 5 minutes, I'm going to go over your independent work for today. Okay. So take a look with me at Edsby if you guys are needing to know where to go for your assignments. That's the prime spot is Edsby. So right here are those objectives that we just spoke about. Okay, they're right here again to see. There's no IXL today. You guys are here for the live lesson, and welcome. I'm so glad to see all of you guys today, and I know it's going to be great with all you guys here. We had a good amount of kids in the first session, and I know that you guys are going to do great too. So if you're joining in on a recorded session, hello to you, and you're in for a treat today. The PowerPoint is attached, guys, so everything I'm showing you today is right down here. You can go and look at it. And then you do have an assignment. Remember, all assignments are due Friday, but I'm assigning another thing on Wednesday. So if you want to get this done and submit it, you can. The earlier, the better. And this assignment is coupled with the questions from last week. So for a total of a 50-point Socratic Alexander grade. All right. So after this lesson, you're going to work on the reflection. Some of you guys will be going to math. So feel free to work on the reflection in your own time, but don't worry, it's not due until Friday, but get it to me as soon as you can if you'd like to. All right, guys, we do have office hours today. If you need help, same code, same password. And then you guys might have seen the password today is Rome. So the password indefinitely for the rest of the Zoom sessions this year will be Rome. So that's where we're going. We're going to Rome. And then all of the resources that you guys need are here as well on Edsby. If you guys need to print out the article or, want to access the video, that's here. I posted that last night. And yeah, that's kind of what Edsby looks like today. And yeah, so we are moving on to more of the PowerPoint. And the reflection is something that you guys are going to actually write yourself. And I'm going to be going over what should be in your reflection. So make sure that you guys pay attention and stay to the very end. So there's that. I'm going to split you guys up into breakout sessions. And thank you guys for joining in today. These breakout sessions are going to be named A and B. And I'm going to be kind of saying like, okay, group A, it's your time to talk and only group A can talk. And then we're going to flip flop to group B and so on. So as I'm splitting you guys into these, I want Miles and Mia to kind of go on their expectations as Socratic leaders today. Does one of you guys can start? Like, what do you expect from your classmates in this type of a Socratic, in the Zoom Socratic, which there's kind of other things? What do you think, Mia?
I would say have your notes like you said, and pay attention to everybody and respect people. Make sure that you can at least try to talk maybe once or twice. At least talk. Just try to talk.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. It's easy, especially for me, to get distracted. So make sure you're always paying attention to what everybody else is saying, and that you understand them. Mm-hmm. Because it's important to hear what they're saying to kind of base your next point on, and also definitely don't try to talk over people. But that's not quite as much of an issue here because we can mute and unmute people. But and if you are waiting to be called on, we'll try to get as many people as we can.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. You guys might be getting a notification for a breakout room. Make sure that you guys are joining that so that you guys know the group of people you're going to be with and chatting with. So remember, in order to kind of have this work, we are going to put you guys into even smaller groups. So I can just say group A, group B. So thank you for accepting this invitation to join group A or group B. We appreciate that. And then here, we are going to go over the rules of the Socratic. So now that you're with your people, thank you for joining in. We're going to go over what these rules look like for your Socratic seminar. First and foremost, guys, you have the ability to unmute yourself for this, okay? So we're going to be using that button with some respect today. So please make sure if you are called out that you are able to unmute yourself, and you don't do it if you're not called out, because that's not very fair. So the rules of this Socratic seminar for this particular session: talk to each other, call each other by name, If Miles asks a question, say, okay, what do you think, Juliana, about this? And so Juliana knows it's her time to talk and no one's going to be jumping on that, okay? If no name is called, feel free to jump in too, okay, if you have something to say. We're referring to evidence from the text to support our ideas, so make sure you say where you got that idea. Also, ask questions if you don't understand. Hey, Cooper, I didn't understand what you said. Cooper, can you repeat that? Or Aiden, I think you said this. Is that right? So calling people and calling them out if you don't understand, please do that so we can all be on the same page. Obviously, you don't need to raise your hand to speak. Pay attention to your airtime. Are you hogging the air? Are you talking a lot? Maybe if so, take a step back. Mia or Miles, if you know that someone's talking a lot, maybe put their name in the chat so I can say something to them, okay? Don't interrupt people and don't put down the ideas of another student, okay? We wanna embrace all the ideas here too. And remember, we haven't decided a side, or it's okay if you haven't decided a side because it's not a debate. So if someone doesn't understand, this Socratic should help them to get to that point. So that's kind of our rules today. And whereas before you get graded for how many times you speak, that does not play into today's role, okay? So don't feel like, oh my God, I have to talk 5 times to get an A, oh my God. No, because that quite possibly couldn't happen today in the short amount of time that we have and the large amount of people we have. So don't feel like you didn't talk, you're getting an F. That's not how we're grading you, okay? If we're talking to have a conversation today, and you guys are here to do that, and I really appreciate that. Also, remember, it's a discussion, so you can totally have your opinion, use the sources, but don't, jump on someone if they haven't decided their side yet and they're still trying to figure out what they believe. Also, it's normal for people to feel this one way and then switch by the time we're done because of all of the wonderful things that we're hearing. Remember, it's a safe place to share your opinion. So talking out loud we want you to. However, if that still kind of makes you nervous, feel free to put your thoughts in the chat. And obviously, as the leader, I can go ahead and chat that for you out into the group. So if you feel nervous about talking, write your thoughts in the chat. We had a lot of kids do that, and a lot of kids had a bunch of great points that did it that way. And we brought those up, and it facilitated really great discussion. Remember, you can unmute yourself, and please do so in a respectful way. This is a time to show respect to the class and a time to show respect to me. And remember, these lessons are recorded, so we want to make sure that we don't have you recorded doing something not so good, because consequences will ensue. So thank you guys for being a great person of respect today. It really will help. And here's the thing, if you're group A and it's your time to talk, what does group B do? Do they just sit there? Well, there's a couple of suggestions, guys. Number one, take the opportunity to write things down that group A says. And as group B, you can bring those up in your session too. Hey, I want to go back to what Jake said in group A because this was really amazing. So feel free to do that. You can add comments to the chat. Even if you're group A and it's group B's time to speak, you can write stuff in the chat too. Maybe you just need to take a mental break. You just need to kind of take 5. That's totally okay while your group is muted. And then maybe listen for things to add to your reflection as well, okay? So you're writing this reflection, what am I learning? What am I gaining from the Socratic? Maybe you're jotting those down because maybe you hear something from somebody else's session that you liked, okay? So that is what you do when your group is muted, okay? So our main question today is Alexander truly great, okay? I am going to kind of end the breakout sessions here. What I want you guys to do is take one last look at the people who are in your session, because these are the people you're calling out. These are the people that you're going to be calling. So maybe you want to write a few names down, like, oh, Luke's in my session, Kate's in my session, oh, Nikhil. So maybe you want to make sure you know and you're calling out the right people. So the rooms are going to close in 60 seconds, and we're all going to come back to the main session so we can all be a part of this discussion. So thank you for joining me back in the main session. Remember to stay muted until you are called upon. So thank you for being respectful in that manner. And I'm going to take it to Group A first. Group A is going to go ahead and start, and Group B is going to be kind of like that kind of relaxed, maybe taking notes position. Okay, so thank you guys for joining me back into the main session. Miles, do you have anything before we get started?
No, the meeting actually, I got kicked out of it for some reason. It wasn't responding.
Oh no.
Yeah, I had some computer trouble there, so I wasn't in the breakout room.
Okay, we didn't really do any discussion in the breakout room. We just went over the rules. So basically, the main thing to do is make sure you're calling people by name, make sure you're showing respect, because you do have the ability to unmute yourself, and just kind of respect everybody's opinion today.
All right.
Okay, so Group A, we're going to go ahead and get started with you. If you are a part of Group A, we're going to look to you guys to move this discussion forward. So Mia or Miles, do you guys want to start with like a main question to these people?
I would say one question that I would want to ask is, do you guys think it's sketchy or not that he became king after Philip II?
Yes, I do think it was a little sketchy after, because in the video it said that, like, because the Philip II died, and then after that in the video it said that there was a chance that he was not going to be on the throne after that. So then after that, apparently it says that his mom killed Philip's last bride and the male child, and also out of the blue, his half brother just randomly dies out of nowhere. So it's kind of doesn't really make sense that out of the blue, his half brother dies so that now he can be the ruler. It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, but Brandon, right there, you're just assuming that he did that, but really, we don't have any facts that he did kill his father and his brother.
It also said that he was like stabbed, so he had to be stabbed by somebody.
Yeah, it's not just like, it's like kind of like everybody thinks that it's like this weird coincidence that like we don't have evidence or whatever, but like how Cassidy's saying, like he said it was stabbed, so he had to be stabbed by someone, and you may think that like he was going through all this like anger and sadness through the time of his like dad's death, so he may had to take that anger and sadness out on somebody.
So like okay, but like if he wasn't great, then why did they call him Alexander the Great?
Well, in the East, they call him Alexander the Annihilator.
I would like to say that in the video, it did say that he was assassinated by one of his bodyguards, Philip II. One of his bodyguards was the one who stabbed him. So I just wanted to clear that up. We do know who actually killed him, but he may have been paid to kill him or like told to kill him.
Could have been a secret mission.
So when I was in my breakout room, I already said this, but I'm gonna say it again, and I can't pronounce some of this, so like bear with me about that. It said, and I did some research, and it said this: Darius, the king of Persia, fled from a battle against Alexander, abandoned his wife Sateria, whatever her name is, and his entire Sateria. Said, I wish my husband was as honorable as Alexander the Great. Alexander is reported to have treated the Persian royal family with great respect after conquering them.
Any thoughts on that piece of evidence?
Well, yeah, he could have just treated the royal family nicely, but that doesn't mean he treated all the other civilians nicely as well. Yes, he did just treat the royal family nicely, but that's not even the population. That's like a little bit of it. It's like, yeah, it's like it's not yes, the royal family is important, but that's just a little bit of it. He has the whole entire population that he should try to be loyal to.
Yeah, I agree with you on that because it said that he crucified 2,000 men, and that's like a lot of citizens.
Yeah, like you,
that he
like
could
I
have
feel like the royal family is like how kind of Braden say is it's just like a very small part. Like if you're looking at like the society in like a triangle, like the royal family is kind of just a small part of like the whole community. And I feel like kind of how Cassie is going back to saying because how he crucified all these people, like that's like just because he's being nice to one part of that community, just because he's being nice to the royal family doesn't mean he's necessarily nice to the whole actual family and community of his of like the town.
Well, at least he let them keep their religion, unlike pretty much any other ruler we've had that has conquered other, like, empires.
That's a good point, Aiden. And I want to bring it back to loyalty, how you guys were talking. From the video, Ancients Behaving Badly, one of his most loyal people was his mother. Do you guys think his mother influenced him for negative? Colby here in the chat says the mother maybe poisoned the half-brother so that Alexander could have had that straight shot to the throne. So does anybody have any thoughts on his mother? And did she make him crazy, or did she make him in a way where he was able to take over?
Because the video said that she like influenced him to like she wanted him to be perfect and be like a god, and so like maybe she could have poisoned the brother.
I think
And I agree with Cassidy.
Let's have Emma Hansen talk.
I kind of agree with Cassidy as well. I think that his mom kind of had this figure that he was going to be like his mama boy. Like she would do anything for him. And so I feel like she did have a little bit of a twisted mind when it came to anything that Alexander wanted. So I feel like if he wanted to go straight to the throne, that she would have had something to do with poisoning his half-brother.
This is a 2-minute warning for Group A. We're going to switch to Group B in just a second. So is there anything else Group A wants to say about his mother or about anything? Miles, Mia, do you have anything too?
I think that his mother, like Emma said, I think he was like the mama's boy, and she was probably like really wanting him to be the leader, and she could have just been like, oh, I would rather him be the leader than his half brother, and she could have just easily poisoned him.
Yeah, I definitely think that his mother influenced him, because she, in the video, they described that she was kind of like a selfish and impulsive person. So, and like one of the only people she was really that close to was her son. So that definitely played a role.
And I think she fed him the words and the affection that he needed. Colby says that he needed to know he was special, and his mother gave that to him.
His mother also showed him that it was acceptable to kill other people to get what you want.
Yeah,
that's definitely a good point.
Yes. I think let's go ahead and leave it on that note. Miles and Mia, you guys can stay unmuted, but we're going to go ahead and bring it to Group B, who I'm super excited to hear from. In my first session, they asked if I could call them Group Big Brain instead of Group B. So sure, if you guys want to be Group Big Brain, we're going to have you guys talk too. If you guys want to continue on his mother and talking about how she may have influenced his behaviors, we can. Does anybody have anything for that? If not, we can switch to a different topic.
Does anybody want to talk?
I have something on his mother.
My hearable question mark.
I think that
remember, this is Group B, guys. Group B.
I have something to say on this.
Go for it. We're waiting.
So,
his mother went. So his mother went and gave flowers and gold to the person who killed his dad, but he went to his dad's grave and put gold there. So it's like his mother wanted King Philip to die for some reason.
Good point.
I agree with Luke, but I also think that Alexander had a part, but he was trying to play an act in that because he tried to kill he killed the guard that killed his dad before he could say anything about who asked him to kill him.
Good point, Nick. Jake in the chat says, because he probably felt guilty. What do you guys think?
Probably.
He probably did.
Yeah, I think so. Or at least wanted to put a show on for the crowd. Is there any other topics in that you guys would like to bring up? Group B, this is like a fresh start for you. So what do you guys think?
Probably how for some cities and places he conquered, if they surrendered, he'd let them keep the style of government and their religion, but if they didn't surrender, he would kill them or sell them into slavery.
So yeah, let's talk about like maybe the ethics of like how he treated people and stuff like that. That's just like a suggestion for a topic.
With the ethics, is that truly great? Can that make someone truly great? Yes.
Yeah, or like the amount of land he conquered, or whatever you guys want to talk about.
I like Luke's idea for the ethics and Miles' idea for ethics.
Do you have anything, Jordan?
Well, yeah, because if he it was probably if he was nice enough to let them keep their religion and stuff, and so most leaders that we've learned about before in ancient history were all like, no, you must follow what I believe in, you must do this and that, but he was like, keep your religion and insurance, I just want the land. And that proves that he is truly great because he was nice.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you. He did do whatever he could to conquer land, but he definitely, once he conquered land, he would usually let the people keep their customs and religions.
Yeah, I think that's pretty nice of him. I mean, name another king that would actually do that other than King Sargon.
Good point, Nikhil. Is that act really great? The act of letting people keep everything, and not only letting them keep everything, but guys, he worshipped Egyptian gods as his own. He worshipped Persian gods as his own. He took on this culture and embraced it. Like, not even just accepted it, he embraced this. He even married a Persian. So is that something that's truly great of a person?
Yes, and in TCI, it says that he married King Darius III's daughter.
Yep.
But King Darius was his enemy, so it really shows how he can change and adapt to people's religion and ways and not just destroy their religion and ways and just force them all to do the Greek ideas.
Yeah, that's a good point, Luke. Cooper in the chat says, guys, it's great that he's bringing these religions and cultures together, but because isn't that what ultimately we all want? We want everyone to be, equal. We want everyone to feel like what they do is great. And is that great of Alexander to want to have all those religions and cultures be accepted? he did that.
I agree with Luke, but I also think that some of his ethics on like trying to destroy walls and like selling the people into slavery could have been seen as bad or could have been seen as good in different ways. Well, but I thought like maybe it was just he was using war strategy to scare people out of going against him instead of actually just being a bad person like most people think. And I think his ethics of war really showed that he was just being a good war strategist to lead on his empire instead of just embracing them. He helped his empire as well instead of helping just others.
Okay. Well said, Nick. Does anybody want to have the opportunity to talk? We have about 4 more minutes with Group B or Group Big Brain, and we'd love to hear from you guys if you have something to say.
In the passage, it says that he would so it says that he would kill people, like when cities didn't surrender, he would kill someone just because they got in his way. So there is some of a dark side to the good stuff he is doing.
Yeah, so that definitely does seem like a kind of ethical dilemma. Like if you surrender, he'll let you keep your stuff, but if you don't, he's gonna kill your entire city pretty much.
I see what you're saying, but I disagree. I think it was still, like I said, it was war strategy to scare people out of resisting. And he thought, well, if they are resisting, they could rebel and overthrow me and take out my empire, and I don't want that to happen. So he was really just trying to protect himself and his empire from being destroyed.
Yeah, I would say that he definitely there's actually kind of probably a strategy to get people to surrender to him, because you get all these perks. You're allowed to keep your religion and stuff and all your customs if you surrender. And if you don't surrender, you're probably not going to survive it. So there's no reason not to surrender.
Yeah, and like he gave everyone, if you just surrendered, you got to keep everything that you had before. And I mean, he just wants your land. So I don't see why you wouldn't just surrender to him, because if you don't want to die, just surrender.
Yeah, in the passage it says they turned to his they were they more readily accepted his rule and paid his taxes because he let them keep their
Well,
religions.
about it, I could see why they wouldn't surrender, because some of the people that didn't surrender might think this could be a trick and make us all his slaves and stuff. So if they think like that, of course they're gonna want to attack, because they don't know what's gonna happen if they surrender.
That's a good point. We have about a minute or so. Does anybody have anything else they want to say before we move it to Group A?
Does anybody have anything to say, like about
well,
maybe how you think his like mother influenced him or something like that?
I have a question that maybe could start off the next topic for the next group.
Okay, so Nick, you have a question for Group A?
Yeah. Did he help himself or did he help everyone?
Ooh, that's a great question. I'm going to go ahead and have Group B kind of take the back seat here. Maybe this is your chance to take notes or to kind of figure out what you'd like to write in your reflection and just kind of listen in. And I want Group A to take that question. That's a great way to kick off this next portion. What do you guys think?
What was the question again? I forgot what it was.
He helped himself or others. And I think he actually did a little bit of both, because in some ways he helped others by, like how we were saying earlier, he let them keep their religion and he let them keep their rights to own land and in his place. But he also helped himself to have owning everybody else's land, like as him ruling it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Aiden, because he did
do all that stuff, and he conquered a lot of land for his people.
I think I agree with you, and I think that he was never I feel like he was never satisfied with himself because he kept on going, and in the video it said something about how there's a rope, like a knot or something, and if you would like unknot it, then you would become like a good worshipped and everything. So he, instead of like doing it the right way, he like sliced it with a sword instead. So he was trying to like cheat, I guess, in a way. So
Yeah, I kind of agree with Cassidy. I mean, he was kind of selfish sometimes because, like you said, he did do the knot thing, but that was just so that he could rule the land, and yeah, he could just rule the land, but he might not treat everyone equally. So yes, I do agree that he did help others and himself, but he was a little selfish sometimes.
That's a great point, Braden. I'm going to actually stop you there because I did hear something really great in the chat from Jake. And he says, why do you think the empire fell apart so quickly after his death? Does that make Alexander great because he was such a great leader to keep everything together? Or did he not let anybody kind of come in and learn? Was he just the only guy? Like, why did it fall apart so quickly? Does that show greatness, or does that show lack of having someone trained to fill his shoes?
well, because it was so big, and he was like a good leader at controlling all of the land, but because it was so big that they couldn't control every part of the land because there was so much land to control.
Excuse me? Uh, sorry. I'd like to go over that in the end of Alexander the Great, Greek and Asian culture was so profound that it inspired a historical epoch, the Hellenistic period.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, that's really great.
I actually think that the empire falling right after he died actually shows both once again, because it's showing that he didn't have anybody else trained, but it did show that he was a good leader because the people had somebody to rely on to keep their empire safe.
Well, I kind of disagree with Aiden a little because, well, I think that one of the reasons why his empire fell so quickly after he died is because during the time where he was conquering all the land, a lot of his troops didn't really agree with him. They didn't think what he like, because the stuff with Persia that he did about like marrying one of the people from Persia, a lot of his soldiers didn't really think that was a good thing. So they didn't really trust or rely on Alexander. And also, he didn't really treat his soldiers that well because when they were going back to Persia, almost 25,000 of his men died. So maybe one of the reasons why his empire fell so quickly is because he had no soldiers to protect it, because 25,000 of them died.
I would like to say that his empire falling apart almost right after his death, pretty much, it's not a good thing, but it pretty much shows that he was holding his empire together. Single-handedly, he was holding how many? It was like thousands and thousands of miles of territory.
Yes.
And he was holding it together all by himself, basically. He had the manpower. He wasn't fighting the wars, but politically, he was holding the whole empire together. So I think
Miles,
that shows that he was a strong leader.
I was going to say, does that say a lot about his leadership, and does that make someone great?
Yeah, I think that would probably make him a great leader, because if you can gather the manpower and you literally don't need any other form of government or other people around you to help you with that, and you just need soldiers and like people to like build the cities and stuff.
Mm.
And if you can hold that like whole social like system together by yourself, then I think that shows that you're probably a pretty good leader. Because like in the government today, every government has like different branches and stuff, and it's not like just the president is holding together the entirety of a country, or
Right.
just the whatever leader in their form of government.
You have separation of
Like
powers.
they have like thousands of people in the government. But if one person's holding the government together, I think that's a pretty crazy feat.
Any comments on that as we kind of close out our session? And group B, feel free to come in to this as well. We'll have everybody be able to contribute. Just make sure you guys stay muted unless you're called on or unless you want to speak.
Oh.
Go ahead, Dawson.
Okay. Thank you. Well, in my opinion, because Miles said that he was like a singular person holding it all together, but like I feel like if he at the beginning, if he didn't just, like people just died and he became the ruler, maybe if he had become the ruler in another way, he would have had more people to help support him, so that after he did die, the kingdom didn't fall apart, and he could have, because he wasn't that, like, he didn't trust that many people, and like I feel like if he just like had more people to like kind of help him along the way, he would have had a better like empire that would have lasted longer. So.
Yeah, I agree with Dawson.
I agree.
Because
Yeah, I agree.
yes, he did rule a whole empire by himself. Yeah, good for you. But the thing is, a lot of like Dawson said, he didn't trust many people. So a lot of his people didn't have a say in what was going to happen. And also, it's kind of good to have a lot of people, because like in our government, if one person falls, we still have everyone else left to help it get back together. But Alexander, it was just himself. So he didn't really have any other way to get his empire back up once he died.
Yeah, him being able to hold together his empire by himself is definitely a great feat, but it definitely wasn't very smart to not have any other people there, because he was definitely holding it together, and that was definitely pretty amazing. But if he had other people there who were helping him hold together his empire, after he died, it could probably still stay together, and it probably would have altered the course of history.
Interesting.
I agree with you, Miles, and I think one of the other reasons why the empire did not last longer is because of what he did and like how people found out of it after like he died. I don't think like people wanted his empire to stay around because of what he did, and so they kind of like formed a new empire. I don't know what happened after that, but like you know what I mean.
They broke up into 3 sections. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it was the fact that no one person other than him really had the power to hold together a whole empire.
Yeah,
so nobody else really knew how to deal with that whole thing.
Yeah, because he also he killed one of his generals. He killed like one of his best generals. So that could definitely make a toll on it, because maybe if the general survived, then the empire could have stayed together.
Yeah, he was definitely kind of a paranoid person about other people and like trusting them and stuff.
I agree.
Guard
with all of you.
Go ahead, Nick.
I agree with all of you, but I have a topic that goes with this topic, kind of how we're all talking about it, since we're kind of going into a new topic. I had like a question come into my mind. Does he have anger issues?
Yeah, so like does he have some sort of like mental illness or something because
I do
of
have
his
something
behavior?
to say about that. Braden said this too, but he didn't say the full thing. In a drunken rage, he killed his best general. His best general's name was I don't remember.
Yeah, Cletus.
Cletus, and people called him the new Achilles. But and he tried to like keep that and show that, but he was really just killing a bunch of people and trying to keep his own like self be good, being like appreciated, and he really just did a bunch of things that were really bad for himself and the others, and he really couldn't be Achilles, the next greatest Greek soldier, because he was never in the actual battlefield unless he was leading them to show them to go somewhere.
Yeah, I agree with Nicholas. It pretty much in the video it did say that he was an alcoholic like his father before him, and I think he might maybe have anger issues just a little bit, because when Alexander the Great, he got back to Persia after taking over all the land, his best friend died, and Alexander then killed the doctor that tried to save his friend, and maybe that doctor could have been a really, really good doctor that could have helped a lot of other people. But since he couldn't save one of his best friends, Alexander's just like, get him out of here, kill him right now. Like, yeah.
I agree. Ashlyn here in the chat says that he killed a lot of the people he trusted as well. And it could have contributed to why his empire fell apart, because nobody would want to trust him anymore because they didn't want to get killed by Alexander. So that goes apart. That's kind of contributes to his anger issues.
Yeah, I agree with all of you. But I also have another thing to say about it. Like earlier when he was young with his mom had a bunch of spasms going and stuff of anger and drunken rage. So maybe he kind of gotten used to seeing that and made it himself. And with him like killing all of the people he trusted, it said in the notes that and the video, this kind of goes both. They said that most of the people called him out Alexander the Great, but some people called him like Alexander the Killer, and maybe that's because he killed everyone there in a rage as well. And I was thinking maybe, like, I've dealt with anger issues and I know how it is. You get mad at someone for saying something wrong about you or something stupid and you get mad, but maybe he was just taking it too far. And I think maybe if he didn't do all this stuff that he did that looks like anger issues, he could have maybe stayed alive too, because not as many people would have been mad at him to try and kill him. And
yeah, his parents might have contributed to his attitude and his maybe the mental illness that you say he might have had from a young age.
And I think that he actually did have like anger issues, and that's what made him become like an alcoholic, because when he got mad he might have just like drunk, and then that's how he killed his general.
And he's a psychopathic killer, maybe.
Yeah, Matthew, absolutely.
I feel like
agree with Matthew.
Go ahead, Alex.
I feel like assassination and killing was common in ancient ages, and I feel like even though he had anger issues, we're all human, and even it was in ancient times, so he probably thought of maybe other ways in his mind, and we don't have like laws like we do today.
Yeah, maybe he was trying to figure out and make sense of what was going on in his mind, and this is the only thing he knew because it's the only thing he's seen growing up.
This topic is also like a topic we discussed earlier was like how his mother like contributed to his rule and stuff. Maybe that like what in his early childhood, how his mother was like always like making sure everything was perfect for him and all this like stuff. Maybe this contributed to his anger issues because people would judge like his like how special he was, or like say like you can't really be a god or something, and he would get really angry. So it kind of all like intertwines.
I agree with Colby.
Yeah, Nicholas, why don't you say your last thing here?
Yeah, I agree with Colby, and I think that all of you guys said like really good stuff about this, but I think maybe how we know he has anger issues is maybe like we see him being angry, but as a little child, when he got mad at those people, we all do, and I thought, well, maybe why he bursts out so much is because he also has ADHD, because ADHD would contribute to the anger issues being like just breaking out of nowhere. Because he wouldn't be thinking, he'd just be going rapidly, going, I want to do this, I want to do that, and it would just contribute to him being all mad all the time. And like, he thought he was special, and his mom thought he was special. So when people think he's not special, he gets mad and doesn't think, he just does. And so all this stuff could contribute to how he did all this stuff. And maybe Alexander wasn't great. He could have been efficient, but maybe he was just lucky in the battles by having the rage to be able to tell people what to do and like be able to command. And he was just lucky to be able to good strategist, because maybe if he didn't have those good strategies and was able to quick think, he would have probably just killed all his men and just been done.
I'm actually going to take it from here because we do have to kind of close up, and I have to show you guys your independent work. I am going to have Miles and Mia close us out here in just a moment, so you guys can take a moment to think about what you're going to say. I do want to share your independent work for today, guys. A lot of people had questions about the reflection, so I wanted to go over what that is. So you guys had an assignment due last week. It was the Alexander questions, the multiple choice. So added to that is going to be this reflection. The reflection is going to be on the Socratic Seminar, which I thought you guys did an amazing job. You guys should use the reaction applause button right now and give yourselves all a hand, because you guys did fantastic. And of course, you know this, if we could keep going, we could keep going all day and talking about this topic. And if we were in the classroom, it would be a lot better, but we're making do with what we have. And I thought you guys did a really, really great job, and your points were just on it. So thank you. For your reflection, it's going to be a 1-paragraph, just kind of talking to me. And you guys can continue the Socratic with your reflection, because I definitely want to hear some things from you about this. What did you learn from this Socratic activity, and all the activities for Alexander for that matter? Was he truly great in your opinion? How did the Socratic go for you? Did you feel like it went well, and maybe you didn't want to talk and you just loved listening, and maybe you were chatting with me? How did it go for you? What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? How did your fellow classmates help you understand the topic and the questions? Maybe even call some names out. And then what are you proudest of yourself for accomplishing for this lesson? Maybe you spoke and you were really nervous and you were so proud, or maybe you were making good points in the chat, or maybe one of your points in the chat made it to the conversation. So what are you proud of for yourself for this? Now you guys can write this down with pen and pencil and take a photo, or you can even just in Edsby, send me a long Edsby message if you want to, or even type it and send it in a Word document to me. So however you want to get this reflection to me, you can. I'm very open. I don't have a submit button, so you don't have to worry about that. Just Edsby message me, email me your reflection. And then that combined with your questions from last week will give you guys a 50-point grade for the Alexander chapter. And remember, no test for chapter 30. So we weren't testing you on chapter 30. However, go back and see if you took chapter 29 test. I had a lot of people take 30 instead of 29. And so you might have a message saying to go back and take the right test. So you can still do that for full credit. So this slide right here, guys, is on Edsby if you need to go back to your independent work. Now, Miles and Mia, I'm going to have you guys kind of just say your last couple words about today's session. And I want to thank you guys for hosting today and being our student assistants. Miles, why don't you start?
I would like to say that everybody who talked definitely did a great job. And we had some very interesting points, like how his mother affected him and how he treated people, and like if he had some sort of mental illness. So I think those are definitely all interesting topics that we came up with, and I'm very proud that everybody who talked was able to give some input, and just and a lot of people came up with new topics to talk about and stuff. So I'm very happy with that. And I
Thank you,
think everybody
Miles.
did a good job.
I agree. Mia, what do you think?
I think everyone did a good job as well. Especially Nicholas, he talked a lot and he gave some really good points. I think everyone did, like we all brought up some really good points. Everyone who talked did a good job. And especially, like Miles said, when we brought up the point about his mother, that was a really good and very interesting topic that we talked about. And I know for me, I learned that I never thought like, oh, his mother maybe influenced him. But now it was something especially that I learned that I would have never thought of.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mia. Thank you, Miles. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I'm looking forward to reading your reflection on this activity and how you feel, and kind of have that personal one-on-one connection with you when I read your reflection. So make sure you put it all out there. You did a fantastic job, everybody. I'm so proud of you. You just impressed me through all of this, through a pandemic. You guys are just killing it. So thank you. I hope you guys have a great math class, and I will see you Wednesday. We're going to start the geography of Rome on Wednesday. So see you guys then. Ask me any questions. I'm on EDSB the whole day. Come to office hours if you need anything. So have a beautiful day, guys. Excellent job. You guys are awesome. Bye.